Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com. It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator.
Introducing Bark in the Belly Premium Dog Food. 100% of profits go to help dogs in need.
Over 30% of adults struggle with chronic foot and joint pain, and many face mobility limitations as they age. But a revolutionary Comfort First slipper has taken the wellness world by storm. Try Cloud Slides and feel you are walking on the clouds. Cloud Slides.
Welcome in. Wicked Boston Show. 365 Sports. Your host, Cam Stuart, Zach Burke, behind the glass, keeping us on the air 5 days a week on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts as well. It is your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio on this Wednesday. Man, I mean, the other day, we had our show, and I was like, man, we're not doing a lot of Patriots right now, but we're hitting everything else, right? The Red Sox, the Celtics, the Bruins. I got to do some Patriots today. Lord help me. I got to do some Patriots today. I was at the Red Sox game last night, maybe with the best seats I've ever had at Fenway. Look at that. Look at that. Directly behind home plate. For the first 2 innings, I had a guy who was 6'4", wearing one of those stupid Fenway Park hats. It was sitting right in front of me, so I couldn't see the actual plate. He ended up having the wrong seats, so I got this beautiful view. Crochet versus Mizorowski, wanted to see it. Good pitching performance, absolutely, but ended up being just a regular plain Jane kind of game. I thought Mizorowski was going to break Clemens' strikeout record. I thought he might throw a no-hitter, but ended up being a 3-2 Red Sox victory, and I have been at 67% of the Red Sox victories this year, which is really saying something. And what else is really saying something? Look at that crowd in the first inning, by the way. Tuesday night, 35 degrees outside, 39 at first pitch. I got that ticket for $30 last night. $30 to sit right behind home plate at Fenway Park for a team that is supposed to be contenders in the American League. Obviously, we know they're not right now. They're 3-8. But just wanted to get that good stuff out of the way before we get into what we're getting into in the show today. We are going to have Jack Studley of Boston Hockey Now joining us in a couple minutes, talking about Bruins, an ugly loss last night, 4 losses in a row. Are we starting to worry about this team? We're starting to worry about Jeremy Swayman. Is it time for James Hagens? Boy, do I have all kinds of questions for Jack. We're going to talk some Celtics playoffs and who they could be playing. Maybe there's one team in there that I would be concerned about if I was a Celtics fan, which I am. But, of course, we've got to start with the Patriots news and Mike Vrabel. Oh, boy. So at the Red Sox game last night, I start to see these pictures circulate, and it's not good. Mike Vrabel, Dianna Russini, dominating the headlines this Wednesday. Some New York Post pictures. This is where this is coming from. In Sedona, Arizona. I'm sure you've seen them by now. Some hand-holding, interlocking fingers, a hug, sitting by the pool. It's not looking great, man. It's not looking great. Look, I've heard the arguments from either side. Do they make sense? Kind of, yes. Okay, let's lay it out. So apparently, Dianna and her girlies were in Sedona. Mike Vrabel and his bros were in Tempe, Arizona State's pro day, I'm guessing. And they both are on these separate trips. And Vrabel goes to his boys and says, hey, how about we go down to Sedona? It's 2 hours away. But you know Dianna Russini, yeah, she's there with a bunch of her friends. Let's go hang out. Technically, that could happen, right? And the other thing about this that is plausible is just, we don't see kissing. We don't see them even eye to eye during a hug. Nothing like that in the pictures. Okay? So there is a chance, a small chance, that could be taken out of context. And the elephant in all of this is these two have a relationship. Romantic, that's one thing. I don't know. But do they have a relationship? Yes. Of course. She was a beat writer for ESPN covering the Titans. When Vrabel became the head coach, they've been together, in the same circles for a while. And it's not uncommon for a coach and a reporter to be hanging out in some way outside of the field and the facility, because that is how you get information. That said, if I'm in these pictures with another woman and my fiance sees this, I'm single. Come on, man. Technically, that could be true, that they're just two friends whose friends groups just happen to come together and they hang out by the pool. They have a very close working relationship, and Dianna Russini is very easy on the eyes. That would be quite a coincidence if that were just the case. But this looks bad. And you dig deeper, and the deeper you dig into this, it looks worse and worse. They both claim that they have friends, they're just not in the picture. It's like that Nathan Fielder meme, right? You know? Here's me hanging out with all my friends, you just can't see them. And the eyewitness accounts that the New York Post got said, oh, no, we didn't see them with other people. Oh, yeah, we saw Mike Vrabel. He was in here with some woman. Not his wife, who he's been married to for 26 years. And that woman not with her husband, the Shake Shack guy, who she's been married to for 5 years, has a couple of kids. Obviously, Vrabel and his wife have a couple of grown kids. They're all older than Drake May, I think. That's a tough look. That is a really, really tough look to have them by the pool and in this resort in Sedona where they boast that they have, a couple hundred proposals every year. They have honeymoons there every year. The romantic suites that they have. This is bad. Okay, this is bad. And it is bad for both of them. We can bring that banner back up. Is it worse for Dianna Russini? Yes. And it's not just because she's a woman. It is because there is a certain ethics portion of her job. It's actually a huge part of her job is ethics. And you need to be close to people. You need to have sources. You can't be sleeping with them. That's where we draw a line. A lot of good journalists have lost their jobs over that. Some have needed to leave their jobs in order to keep a relationship intact. We've seen that in Boston. But I would be really naive to be saying, yeah, they're probably just meeting up. They're just friends. Mike Vrabel and his boys apparently drove 2 hours out of their way, 4-hour round trip to go hang with Dianna Russini and her girlies. And it's just the two of them out on the porch. It's just the two of them in the pool together. It's just the two of them in the hot tub. The other people, they were just off doing something else. They were just having fun. Maybe they all went golfing and these two don't golf. Maybe. But come on, man. Come on. And so I got a text from a friend this morning that said, what do you think of your head coach? What do you think of your team's head coach sleeping around with Dianna Russini? And my first thought, of course, was jealousy. How could you not be? But the second one was, I wonder what happens with Vrabel out of all of this. I'm sure his wife doesn't like it. Again, they've been married for 26 years. Okay? It could be 6 months. It could be 6 years. It could be 26 years. You see pictures like that? That's raising a lot of questions. That is a go find a hotel room kind of night, sleep on the couch kind of night to come home to if you're Mike Vrabel. So that the marriage is now a huge question, right? And I had to look this back up last night. I was like, I think Mike Vrabel's married. They separate or something, maybe? No reports of that. Oh, and Dianna Russini's married too. Oh, wouldn't you know? They both are married. They both have kids. It's a bad look. It's a bad look. Now, of course, we know Adam Schefter has done far worse things to get inside information. We've seen the emails. Hey, is this okay? Shouldn't be doing that. Shouldn't be doing either one of these things. But it does, of course, open up a lot of questions of how long this relationship, and I mean in this case, the working relationship, has been going on. And when that working relationship became something more. We're talking about 8 years, 8 seasons that they've been simpatico, man. Anybody knows, a beat writer, a real inside source person, an insider, like they're around all the time. And probably the best way to get info is to be sleeping with that person. A lot of pillow talk. Okay. But I wonder about Mike Vrabel's job here. Because on the surface, I don't think either one should lose their job. Just because I'm I don't know. Maybe that's just the live and let live in me. But I think one of them crossed a professional, ethical line, and the other kind of didn't. There isn't that kind of ethical line with football coaches. There is with journalists. There are those lines with journalists. But we have seen, and I know it's been a joke all over social media, 2 times in the last 4 years, there's been a coach of a Boston sports team that has gone to a championship game, championship round, lost in their first season, and then cheat on their significant others. Allegedly. Allegedly, we have seen that twice in the last 4 years. And the other guy, Ime Udoka, got fired. He got fired for that. Oh, Cam, it was with a staffer, though. It was with a Celtic staffer. Yep, that does make it a little bit different, but not as different as you might think. Because Dianna Russini doesn't work for the Patriots, but she's clearly getting a lot of inside information about the Patriots, more than an average insider would get. And if you're the ownership group of the Patriots, you're thinking, okay, then what happens when Mike Vrabel is mad at us? Can we trust him, or will rumors come out? Will stories come out about us, the Crafts? Or what if he gets in a tiff with the quarterback? Can the players trust him? Do they have the full? And that was a big thing that Mike Vrabel has had with his team is the players love him and they trust him. But is there a modicum of trust that is gone if you get in some sort of argument with your head coach that could, in normal circumstances, blow over after a day or a week, that now gets leaked to the media because he's sleeping with Dianna Russini? That becomes a real question in 2026 with the power that these insiders have. So I'm not calling for Mike Vrabel to lose his job. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, 4 or 5 years ago, that was a non-question, non-starter. He wouldn't lose his job. But now, after the Ime Udoka situation, I think it's worth asking the question, is there going to be some sort of penalty to Mike Vrabel from his own team? And these aren't the only 2 times this has happened, okay? We had Jess Moran with John Farrell 10 years ago. We had Heidi Watney with Jason Veritek while he was still married. There are other instances here, far from the first one. But I think that Ime Udoka situation maybe changes the goalposts here. Maybe it moves him. And maybe it's not just the female journalist that gets the whip cracked down on him. Might be the male football coach too. And I'm sure the rest of the NFL journalists, especially the insiders, are pissed, man. Mike Reese is not holding hands with Mike Vrabel and a lovely couple's getaway in Sedona. Okay? That ain't happening. He's not getting that chummy with Steve Burton or, I don't know, Taylor Kyles. Not with Mike Debate, friend of this show. Certainly not happening with him. So just wait, man. These next couple of days, all kinds of stuff is going to come out. All kinds. I'm sure you'll be hearing from old Titans people. I'm sure you will be hearing from some of Dianna Russini's colleagues. Probably be some shade thrown out there. This story is far, far, far from done. But I want to hear what you guys think in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you every weekday on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts as well. It is your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. It's right here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart. We're going to have Jack Studley coming up from Boston Hockey Now. He's going to be coming on in just a minute here. I'm going to keep him waiting, even though I shouldn't do that. He's very gracious to come on the show today and share some Bruins thoughts. But first, I got to talk to you about our friends over at Kalshi. Okay, you go to Kalshi, you're going to trade your shares, you're going to do all that great stuff, and we've got one heck of a deal for you. When you trade $20, you're going to get $20. That is with the promo code WICKED. Okay, so that's kalshi.com/wicked. Use our promo code for the Wicked Boston Show and get $20 when you trade your first $20, and maybe put something down on Mike Vrabel getting fired. It'll be great odds. Be great odds. Or maybe you want to do it on the Bruins playoff chances. All right. Because that's what we're going to be tackling in just a couple of minutes. So once again, this QR code, kalshi.com/wicked. Get $20 when you trade $20 with the code WICKED. When we come back, we're going to talk with our good friend Jack Studley about the Bruins, who just keep losing, baby. It's kind of like the opposite of Al Davis. Just lose, baby. And they keep finding a way to do it. They finally scored some goals, and they gave up even more. What is the concern level? Is Morgan Geekie back? Is James Hagens inevitable for this team in April of 2026? That's coming up next on the Wicked Boston Show.
Blackmore Bar and Kitchen, located in Charlestown, is the perfect spot for a bite and drink before a Bruins or Celtics game at TD Garden. Blackmore Bar and Kitchen offers 34 rotating beers, craft cocktails, and an eclectic menu of tavern favorites like burgers, sandwiches, and flatbreads. Join us for brunch every Saturday and Sunday, plus pre- and post-game garden events. Blackmore Bar and Kitchen. Check us out at blackmorebar.com.
Polo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress, that helps you calm down and feel better. You sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
But boy, it looked effortless.
Man, watch this.
Layups, floaters, threes. He was like an unsolvable equation.
I was born like this.
His resilience, his strength, his belief, adversity never stood a chance.
Know your power.
Introducing Muck-Off's classic pink bike cleaner, powered by revolutionary nanotechnology that breaks down dirt and grime on a microscopic level while protecting your bike's delicate finish. us.muc-off.com.
The You Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. You Like.
Back here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart on 365 Sports. It is your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. We got to talk some Bruins here because it's not looking great right now, even though they're probably still going to make the playoffs. We bring in our Bruins expert, Jack Studley of Boston Hockey Now. Oh, do we have him? Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Jack Studley of Boston Hockey Now joins the show. And Jack, I got to ask you, this summer, you, Marco Sturm, Sedona, is that happening again?
That's a great start.
Locking hands.
Great start. Yeah, locking hands.
Hug.
Yeah, me and Marco go way back. I didn't think people knew about it just yet, but
what a time to break it, man. Some pool time.
I know. Damn it.
I could see it in your future.
To the Wicked Boston Show.
I can see it in your future. Look, it's 4 losses in a row. You got a point in the last 2, but it's 4 losses in a row. And going into last night's game, we were talking about 3 losses in a row with only 3 goals scored. Then you go out, you score 5, and you still lose. I had someone ask me, oh, you think the Jeremy Swayman thing was pulling him in the second period was just a way to wake the team up? And I was like, you watch the game? I don't know, man. Those are some really, really soft goals. Now he's earned a game like that, I guess, because he's had such a great season. But I mean, was that concerning for you, that performance against Carolina?
Not really, I'll be honest. Just because he's been on his game all year, and it's like you just said, Sturm after the game, he said he needed a spark. And yeah, obviously those goals are pretty tough, but if you can change something, that's the move to make, especially in the middle of a game. He loves to shuffle the lines, but there's no better move than pulling Swayman out. Obviously, he had a rough night last night. I want to look back at the travel schedule. I know he didn't play on Sunday, but the travel schedule has to have something to do with it. You're playing Florida, Tampa. You're going up to Philly, down to Carolina, no practices. So, yeah, I think you can kind of wipe away the off night. He, like you said, almost earned one. Like he's been such an elite goaltender this season that you can't really fault him for one bad game, because if you do, you really need to step back and look at the bigger picture. The Bruins aren't in the playoffs without Jeremy Swayman this season.
On the flip side, is Jonas Korpisalo kind of nasty all of a sudden?
He's having a great year.
Like, what the hell, man? Where did that come from? The last couple of weeks, he's been lights out. I mean, really, since the Olympic break, he's been really steady for you.
The last loss I think of is the one in Buffalo right after Christmas. Come back from the Christmas break, Korpisalo goes in and he gets shelled. Since then, I'm pretty sure he's 7-1-6, which the 6 suck. Like you don't want to lose your games in overtime, but
that's your backup
goalie. Fault. Exactly. And it's not all his fault. Like I'm not mad at Korpisalo. Actually, he's the last person I'm mad at for last night's game. He did everything he could to keep the Bruins in that game. So yeah, I think now seeing him kind of steady the ship, he wasn't bad last year. He wasn't the best. I think he's having a great year. And what was it? The Jay Fresh tweet the day it was last week. He's like, Jonas Korpisalo is like statistically the worst goalie in the league. He had 2 pretty good showings since then. I saw someone tweet out last night that since this tweet came out, he's been the best goalie in the NHL. He must have seen the tweet. But that's exactly what you're looking for. I know the price tag's heavy, but who cares at this point? Like, it's not like the Bruins are crunched up against the cap looking for, like, it's not like he's preventing them from making moves. Not like they need moves right now, but he's not holding them back yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, again, you get 13 of 14 or I'm doing it bad. You're getting
points in 13.
You're getting 20 out of 20 whatever points.
Yep.
From Jonas Korpisalo starts. You're doing I had to start multiplying by 2 in there instead. That was bad. All right, let's reset. Let's reset with this Bruins team. So Bruins lose 4 in a row. After being kind of a wagon for at least a couple of weeks. And obviously this goes back to the beginning of January. Their percentage is still good, obviously, to make the playoffs. They're looking like a playoff team. Some of the other teams that are behind them keep losing as well. But this time last week, we were thinking of them not just as a playoff team, but like, ooh, they could knock somebody off in the first round. And it was probably the first time we really thought that all year. Is there a concern level with how that road trip went?
Yes and no. So yes, because it's April. This isn't the time to go honest. This isn't the time to start losing games, especially with the playoffs in front of you. If it was last season where the Bruins are out and they're looking at a lottery pick, then I'll never complain about losing games. But yeah, this season, I lost my train of thought for a second there.
The old Michael Scott, Jack Studley.
Yeah. All right, found it again.
Yes.
It's like they've been unbelievable on the road either. Like, this is kind of showing the struggles on the road from earlier this season. They finally found their game on the road not too long ago, but then they lost it. So it's not overly concerning because it's something that they've dealt with, but it's not something that you want. You don't want road struggles going into the playoffs, especially if you're the first wild card. If that series goes to 7, the 7th game, but 4 of them are on the road. So if you're not the best away team, good luck. You can't bank on winning. You can't bank on, maybe if it's Carolina again, all the home teams will win, but you can't bank on that happening.
Right. And it felt like for a week or two there, they had them both. They had them both, man. They were dominant at home and they were breaking even over 500 on the road. Not to be. I do want to look at a positive because there was a couple of positives from this game, actually. Pavel Zacha scores his 30th goal. That's a big one. But, of course, the main one, after 17, 18 games without putting the puck in the net, Morgan Geekie picks up a hat trick. And I think maybe more importantly, a big part of that was being with David Pastrnak and contributing directly to a couple of those goals. Is it a hot game, or is this the beginning of a hot streak for a really streaky player coming at a good time?
Yeah, he's hot and cold. If he can get hot, he stays hot. But then if he gets cold, he cools down. So I'm hoping that this is a sign of something to come. Because even if you look at Sunday's game in Philadelphia, he looked great.
A lot of chance.
And it sucked that he didn't score, but he had really good looks throughout the game. You were almost in the TNT broadcast, which sucked on Sunday. They were all over him. They were every move Geekie made, they were on top of, whether it was him slamming his stick on the board or changing his tape twice in the third period. You could see that the frustration was mounting, but it was good for him to get 1 and 2 and 3. But then after the game last night, he's kind of like, for what? Like, it mentally it helps, but what was it for? Like, we didn't win. Like, that's the goal here. And that's exactly what he's looking for. He doesn't care about scoring. He cares about helping the team win games. So hopefully this is a step in the right direction, because he wasn't scoring and the team wasn't winning any games.
It's big. That is big. And I think that's a guy, I mean, this is going to seem like low-hanging fruit, but when you looked at, they were winning that first part of the drought, like, he wasn't scoring and they were still winning. That's a guy you are going to need in April in the playoffs, specifically because as great a season as he's having, Pavel Zacha has well-noted playoff struggles. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope that does not continue. He scored in his last playoff game, first goal. But the guy has been so instrumental for you this season, Zacha still, that if you aren't going to get that kind of production out of him in the playoffs, someone has got to pick up the slack. And obviously Morgan Geekie would be a great guy to be doing that. We got to get to the elephant in the room here. It's something you and I have messaged about quite a bit over the last couple of days. I talked about it on the show on Monday. It gets amplified once again. Does this team need James Hagens right now?
So to answer that question, they don't need him right now. Should they call him up? 100%. It's time. So for me, Hagens doesn't move the needle. He's not going to come into Boston and make an immediate impact. And now he might. We don't know yet. It's hard to judge that, because everybody's so different. Like, you can look in Philadelphia and say Martone's made an impact. Yeah, he scored his first goal at 5-on-3. But he's still making an impact. Cole Hudson in Washington as well, different player, defenseman. But still, you never know, because it could also be like a Ryan Leonard, Gabe Perreault situation from last year, where they come in and they don't start as expected. It's a different game. So I don't think that the Bruins necessarily need James Hagens, but they 100% should call him up. It's watching this third line revolving door do nothing. And it's like, I'm not trying to shit on those three guys, but the Reichel, he looks good.
The stats are doing it for you, Jack.
Exactly. I mean, exactly.
The
Reichel
game
looks
is doing
good in his
it
first 5 games on the third line. Nice spark, new energy, new line mate, new blood on the line. Then he kind of fell off. And then Asamont came in, and Steves came in last night and didn't play in the third period. He played a minute. So it's like, you're losing, you're chasing 2 goals, or you're chasing a goal. And yeah, you move Tanner Jeannot up to the third line. And
guy who hasn't scored in a month either. Yeah.
Exactly. And you sit Alex Steves. So what's the fucking point? Like, I don't get that. That drives me insane, just watching the team, when you know that there's somebody better in the AHL who can make a difference. It's not like you're putting a center on the left wing and saying, here, Hagens was playing left wing all season long. Right now, to me, he's a better option than Asamont, Reichel, and Steves. And it's not really close. And it's April. You're just supposed to play your best lineup. You're not supposed to leave any holes, especially coming into the playoffs.
And it's kind of getting back to the point that I keep coming back to of, like, really, what is the downside? I know you brought up the Perreaults and Ryan Leonard, and I've heard a bit of that. We hear it a lot with baseball. You bring up a guy too early and it could wreck them. Look what Ryan Leonard did last year, and he wasn't really ready for that stretch run, but he's come up this year for a team that's not as good, that has not scored as much, and he's a 40-point guy as a 21-year-old. Like, if that's James Hagens next year and he's, 17, 18 goals, he's over 40 points, it's not lighting the world on fire, but you'll take that. Right.
100%.
Fraser Minton's doing that right now. And we love it. Obviously, Fraser does a lot of good things defensively, and that's a different part of it. But as a 20-year-old, if he's doing that in the NHL, I think we're happy with that
100%.
as Bruins fans. And so that's where I'm like, what is the downside at this point? He doesn't do the details. It's like, I don't know that Alex Steves is doing the details. Clearly not, if he's not playing in the third period, right? Lucas Reichel's not. Mikey Esamont's not. So if he's going to be your future, the time is now. And specifically, Jack, the time might be right now, okay? Because you played on a Tuesday night, and it's been a rarity, especially after the Olympic break. You don't play again until Saturday. Like, is this not, when you actually have some practice reps, is this not the perfect time to call him up?
Yeah, it's 100% the perfect time. You're not in the middle of this road trip. You have a few days off. They're not practicing today. I think tomorrow they're on. Yeah, they're on tomorrow. They're on Friday. Let him get some reps in. See where he fits. Then you can shuffle up a line. You can move around the third line, because I'm not too sold on Hagens, Minton, and Husnudinov all playing together. I feel like that's a vulnerable line.
Yeah.
So let him come up. Let him get to know everybody. Change the lines around to see what Sturm finds the best fit. Whether that is putting a guy like Jeannot on the third line so that there is a bigger body, but that brings Husnudinov down to the fourth line. That's why I'm not the coach. There's now time. Yeah, there's now time to make these decisions, to make these moves. It's not like you're just throwing Hagens into the ring of fire. If they call him up Friday night, then and play him Saturday, Sunday, then whoa, especially with the practice time. I think this is, like you just said, the perfect time to do it.
And back to what kind of where he slots in, obviously last week or even a couple of games ago, maybe even recent Sunday, it looked like a great fit on the third line with Geekie on the other wing, Elias Lindholm in the middle. Like those guys have been struggling, but at the least you have a guy in Lindholm who is still a good defensive forward, right? He's not giving you anything offensively, but the dude, he can still play defense. He can cover up some holes there. And you've got a guy on the other side in Geekie who is also not a defender, but he's a shooter. He's a lethal goal scorer. And you put a passer on his line, and all of a sudden that does open some things up. Now, it might be a death wish to go into a playoff series with that first line of Husnudinov, Minton, and Pastrnak, like we've seen a lot of over the last month, even though it's been successful in the regular season. But do you think Hagens needs to be playing with someone like a Geekie who can actually deal with his services, I guess?
Yeah, so I would love to see him with Geekie. The other one I just thought of as you were talking, because I said Husnudinov and Jeannot maybe switch. Why not switch Elias Lindholm and Fraser Minton? Play Minton in between Pastrnak and Geekie on the top line, and then let Hagens have a guy like Elias Lindholm. Yeah, he hasn't been the best, but he's finding he's looked a lot better than he has in the last few games. Stearns talked about him being healthy. Like there's Elias Lindholm seems to be playing better hockey than he was beforehand. Why not him on the third line with Hagens and Husnudinov? Let Elias buzz around. Elias's turn for the kid line.
Yeah, why not? I mean, again, the defensive responsibility. You get some speed on either side. That changes the dynamic that Elias Lindholm has kind of had off and on throughout this year with the Bruins, with him being shuffled up and down the lines. He, with Pastrnak, there's certainly a ton of speed. With Geekie, not as much. Looking at Hagens' game, because people are going to point to why he's not ready. 4 points in 6 games in Providence. I know you've been watching some of those games. I've been watching some of those games. What do you think? What have you been impressed by with Hagens that kind of goes beyond the actual raw numbers that we can all Google right now?
And actually, this is perfect that you asked that, because before we hopped on today, Robert Chalmers posted a video to his Twitter. So check it out. It's like about 2 minutes. It's of Hagens' zone entries on the power play.
Well, we don't need that because the Bruins power play is fantastic right now, Jack.
Fantastic.
So it is really good since the Olympic break. So this point is probably going to be completely moot, but I'll let you tell it anyway.
if you look at Hagens' game, it's just the way his vision with the puck. Like I was watching that video. I was watching some of those games as well, but watching that video just to see them all in like a 2-minute clip, you see the vision he has, the hockey IQ he has. This obviously he's a great skater. He's James Hagens. Like, I hate saying players are good skaters because if they weren't, they wouldn't be where they are.
Yeah,
but
they're like the top 1% of 1% ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Playing in hockey right now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, for Hagens, it's just the smaller details that the Bruins keep stressing. He's done it he's been working on those, whether it be at the BC season or right now in Providence. And like you said, the power play has been incredible since the Olympic break. Why not put Hagens on that second unit that's really struggled to really make some noise?
He gives you something you don't have, you know? And I had someone comment on the video yesterday of like, oh, great, he completes a pass. Like everyone can complete a pass. And I'm like, no, I'm saying like the kid's a gifted passer. Like he's a good playmaker. That's why he was picked in the top 10 of the draft. Okay.
Yep.
And right now, you don't have playmakers. Okay. We like this team. The grit is there. They're fun to watch. But you have one legit high-level playmaker, and that's your best goal scorer, by the way, and David Pastrnak. Yep. I know he's not going to finish with the most goals, but he's your most talented goal scorer as well. And so you need someone who can add that and put him in the bottom six. Like, because in years past, I would have been thinking like, oh my God, here's what the Bruins are doing again. They're going to put him in the bottom six. He's going to be playing with nobodies. But now you actually have an opportunity where he can play in the bottom six with some real NHL talent, you know, a guy who's scored 80 points in a season in Elias Lindholm, and a guy who's going to have 30 plus or has 30 plus for the second straight year in Morgan Geekie. Like, this is why it just lays out perfectly. And without getting into a whole rehashing of how the Bruins have handled their young prospects in the Don Sweeney era and keeping them stashed in Providence. Like, look, the rest of the league is caught on with bringing these guys up and letting them figure it out at the NHL level to some extent. It all goes back to your original point. Like, this is the time. If he's the future of, if he's truly the future of your franchise, then I personally don't really give a shit about the first year of the ELC. You know, I get why it's there. I get why it's talked about. But if he's truly your guy for the future, that can't be that big an issue, right?
No, it really shouldn't be. And obviously the ELC is Eamon McLean. You know, Eamon, he said it the best on BNG pod the other day. He said the only people, unless if you're in the Jacobs family, no one cares about the ELC, the burning the year. Like,
dude, it's like the people who are like, oh, don't tell me the Red Sox didn't trade Devers for nothing. They got $300 million. It's like, I don't give a shit. I don't.
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
Exactly. And so the thing that I look back on, and obviously it's a different situation. Injuries brought McAvoy up, but McAvoy burned his first year. So
turned out okay.
It did turn out pretty okay. And then he signed a 3-year bridge deal. And at the end of that bridge deal, he's still an RFA. He's still under team control. Not the worst situation in the world, especially if you're going to get McAvoy signed a 3x4.9. Obviously, Hagens will get more. The cap's going up, and Hagens is elite. But like, get the bridge, keep him under team control. I don't hate it. The ELC shouldn't be any bit of the concern. I think, like you said, he's going to be the future of this franchise. What's the fucking point of keeping him in the AHL? I don't. The only
Patrick Brown can really bring him along, Jack. Really. I think Patrick Brown is going to show him some things.
The only success case that I saw out of the AHL, there's two really. Zach Werenski, when he stayed with the then Lake Erie Monsters.
That's right.
And they won the Calder Cup, and then he joined the Blue Jackets, and look at him. He's unbelievable. One of my favorite defensemen to watch in the league. And then some of these guys on Washington got seasoned in the AHL where they won some championships. They went on some long runs in Hershey.
Was Carter the coach, by the way? Was he the AHL guy?
Ooh,
I could be getting that wrong.
It was Todd Nelson, who's now with Pittsburgh.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, Nelson was there for a few years.
Sorry to interrupt you again, but And I like the job he's done so far. But did they not hire Marco Sturm to bring along young players?
No, I had that here. I had that Marco Sturm.
Is that not exactly why they hired him?
Yep. 100% why they hired him. So, yeah, I'll jump into that. Sturm has all season talked about him making call-ups, him using his experience with Ontario, with younger. He's talked even more recently about college guys coming in. He's talked so much about Hagens and how much he likes him. You know how to work with them. It's not like it's the old school, like the old regime, the powers that were. I was listening to plug you, the Garden Level podcast. Would you have Matt Barry on today?
Did. Yeah, it's a lot of Hagens talk. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of Hagens talk. So I was listening to some of that, and he brought up a really good point and I have the same fear of the Bruins being the Bruins and like the Merkulov situation happening to Hagens where he makes one mistake. And I think Matt said the same mistake Geekie will make.
It was a great point.
And then you'll see the bench for the rest of the game. And I can't say it hasn't happened this year because it happened with Merkulov. Like he made one mistake. That was it. And he was back in Providence the next day. So I hope that that's not the case. Sturm has talked about liking Hagens, liking his game already. You can't give him the shortest leash in the league because Porter Martone's going to make a mistake in Philadelphia. They're competing for the playoffs. They're in a similar boat to the Bruins right now. Let them. Like if you expect this 19-year-old to come in and be the face of your team immediately, then you got the wrong expectations. What he can be and what he will be if he's brought up is a spark. And sometimes a team that's losing 4 straight games needs something to spark them up. Whether it be the goalie change last night or whether it be the new third line center or the third line left wing in the next game, it's not like Hagens is a surprise to any of these guys either. That's another thing. They all know who's coming. McAvoy's talked to him. Pastrnak has seen whether or not they know him personally. I can't speak to, but I think back to the Hagens highlight from the summer where Pastrnak was replying to tweets about it. Like they know what's coming, and if you can give this spark, it's not like they're going to get. I mean, maybe the 3 guys in the revolving door might be a little upset with it, but like you're providing the team with another jolt of energy that is needed right now.
Yeah. And Matt had brought up the point of the Garden Level podcast, which you can see on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts as well, of like, not trying to upset the apple cart in the locker room. And, I had this thought later on after recording that thinking, it's a good sign of faith to bring a boost to this team. Right. Mm-hmm. And B, I think it's a good sign of trust to say, we are going to bring this kid up. He's going to make some mistakes. He's going to help us out in the short run, hopefully, but definitely in the long run. And we also believe in this group to cover up his mistakes and bring him along and help him be a part of our future. Like there is some of that by bringing him up. So this is where it becomes so crucial. Like not only is he your best prospect just in general in the last 10 years, or really since McAvoy, which was, I guess, 9 years ago, but how they handle this will really speak volumes about the Bruins. And if they handle it correctly, maybe you do get a Colin Graf in your future who's not rejecting his hometown team to go and play for San Jose. Maybe those things change a bit. And if it doesn't, your next high pick might be a Cutter Gauthier situation.
Yeah.
It might be. And by the way, again, not to sound really doomsday, if you don't bring up Hagens, that could be a Cutter Gauthier situation. He can go back. That would
not to college,
right?
Can't go back to college, but yeah, he can
kind of hold the cards. Yeah, you're right. You're right. There was some question at the beginning whether he could go back to BC.
I remember that too.
Right. That's why we bring you on. You get the real facts here. Jack Studley, Boston Hockey Now. Let the people know where they can find you. He's the man that never sleeps covering this team, truly. Let the people know where they can find you and what you got working or what you got going on.
Yeah, I got my Twitter is JackStudley13. You can follow BOS Hockey Now as well on Twitter. BostonHockeyNow.com. And today, expect an article up on where the hell James Hagens is.
Yes.
Yep.
Read that. Listen to Garden Level. Clip this. Show it to your friends. We're going to get all kinds of Hagens and all kinds of Jack Studley. in our lives. Jack, man, always appreciate you taking the time and coming on. I kept you way too long today.
No, thanks for having me on. I always love it.
I do appreciate it, man. And we will be checking in with you very soon.
Sounds great.
Oh, can't wait. There he goes. Jack Studley, Boston Hockey Now. Deserves a nice Easter basket for sticking on for a half hour with us. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. Is now the perfect time to bring in James Hagens? And if not, what is your detraction? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you every weekday on YouTube and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. It is your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio, The Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart. Tell you what, we're coming up on 2 o'clock Eastern time. Let's pay the bills and get out of here because we got so much from Jack and, of course, the Dianna Russini, Mike Vrabel stuff. So you'll see that on the channel later if you've missed it. But I got to talk about Blackmore Bar and Kitchen since we're on this Bruins talk. And I'm hoping that James Hagens is playing for the team, for the boys, for the real black and gold on Tuesday night against the New Jersey Devils. And we will have you ready for that one because we will have our pregame at the Blackmore Bar and Kitchen in Charlestown. It is right around the corner from the marina, the wharf there. You can actually park for really cheap. Okay, if you don't want to worry about the T and, the orange line blowing up on the way to the Garden, you can actually park right around the corner for Blackmore, cheap parking. Then you go to Blackmore. Okay, this is the roadmap for you. Then you go to Blackmore. You have one of their 34 different draft beers they have on tap. Get a bite to eat. Great menu, great tavern favorites. And if you're going on a weekend for a matinee, they've got brunch there on the weekends as well. And then you just walk over the Bill Russell Bridge and you're there at the Garden. It is convenient. It is tasty, and you've got all kinds of options, and it's not breaking the bank. There is nothing not to love about Blackmore Bar and Kitchen. We will be there again this Tuesday. That is April the 14th, 6 days from now. I want to see you guys there, and come up and tell me that you are here for the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart and the 34 different draft beers. We'll be there probably around 5 o'clock. Get you a little pregame for Bruins Devils, and maybe go over our 7th player award picks because that will be presented before the game. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in on this Wednesday afternoon. Of course, you can check us every weekday on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts as well. Get your comments in, get those likes in, subscribe. It helps me out a ton. It is your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. We will see you on the next one, the next Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit OpenGoAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farm, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
and faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.